Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. You know, for over 40 years now, I've been talking through some medium, if it's just writing a note or making a flyer, or when you could access the internet, write stuff on the internet, send little letters out, sometimes maybe send what? Garbage out to other people. That's what they call it, especially they want it. Trying to reach people, traveling the country with no money, begging for transportation to get across the country to share with you, the people, about life. Uh, Walking out of the military, refusing to wear the uniform when the president acts out of his mind, committing crimes and going to jail, trying to get your attention since seemingly it can't get it any other way. Speaking on street corners, preaching in churches, going to rallies and everything, trying to let you know a message that I had never heard, that I now could understand and trying to share with you. And a message that was, it's like people, well, you didn't really run from it. It was just like a language that you could not understand. That's what the way it has been. But I haven't given up. I haven't given up because there's no way for me to find any real peace in this life this way. When I struggle to find peace, and I have tried, even in some of these years, I have resorted. Well, I didn't ever spit a drink, or you can't become a drunk. Alcohol will eat your butt up. So even if you start drinking somewhere down that line, you're gonna quit that. And smoking, with whether you're smoking weed or smoking crack or whatever it is, anything else out there you can smoke. Shooting up. Sometimes you have to wake up and realize that those are not solutions. Those are not answers. Those are just ways that you are trying to find yourself, and you do not. And so I find myself constantly out here saying what I've been given to say. And ladies and gentlemen, I find that today, after all of these years, having come out and yesterday 2 or 3 times, the day before, I'm sure 2 or 3 times, constantly talking, and I'm not having any effect. And for some strange reason, I woke this morning and with the same attitude, constantly asking, show me something. But today was a little bit different. The message that I got from the spirit world of love is a little bit different. Today, it was like, take this message. And this message is to speak to an individual man, but at the same time speaking to every man. And they're not just talking about a male. They're talking about human beings. And say to them this: when you were created as an individual, nobody on this earth but you had the right for peace, prosperity, freedom, joy, and happiness, and to live your dreams. And there was nothing on this earth to stop you. Nothing on this earth to stop you. The only thing you had to do was to have a job. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. All you had to do was to have a job, because your job was food, clothing, shelter, education, health care, transportation, and anything else that you wanted, that you did. That was your job as an individual on this earth. God gave you the world. That's what God told me to tell you. And all the resources you'd ever need to do anything while you're on this earth. Already. One man, one person. And when God decided, I'm going to tell you just like this, when God decided to put two people on earth, two people on earth, God put two people on earth not to compete, because the next one had responsibility: food, clothing, shelter, education, health care, had the same responsibility that the other one had. Now it was one, now it's two. Now it's two people got the same responsibility: food, clothing, shelter, education, health care, and so on and so forth. Now, here you are. You know what your responsibility was when you were just one. Those other person, well, if they came at the same place you are, they don't know it. But let's assume, for the purpose of this discussion, that they didn't. They're just two people in two different places, having the responsibility. And They come together. They run it for some strange reason. They come together. They bump together. They just out there walking, looking around. They come together, and they're so happy that they're not out there by themselves. They don't know where they're happy. I mean, it was fun being out there by yourself. You wasn't afraid of anything. Then you saw another person or someone that looked like you. It didn't scare you. You had no fear. You just saw another person. And for some strange reason, I'm just believing that it was exciting because it sure would be to me. Now, you got two people, not just one, two people. Look at it, ladies and gentlemen. I want you in the whole dead black world to look at this. What I'm telling you, what God has given me to share with you. Now, those two people, what are they going to do? What would be the wisest thing for them to do? Some people might think, and as we have been taught, especially by Donald Trump, is that the wisest thing to do for those two people is to compete, compete, and let the wisest, the smartest, the greatest, the most deserving, the whatever, prove themselves amongst the two people. I'm better than you. I've just proven it. That's the attitude of the world. That's the attitude of humankind. That's the attitude of humankind. But what was the heavenly divine way? It would have been for those two people to work together. And the work that they had been doing that was so whatever it was. But it took a lot, I'm sure. But now, my friends, it's two of them working together rather than compete. That should decrease the amount of work that's got to be done for all kinds of reasons. For all kinds of reasons. Now you perhaps don't have to work to make two houses. You might just have to make one. That reduces it tremendously. And you don't have one person making a house. You got two people. Now I want you to stop. Now I want you to think about a family. I want you to think about several or eight people working together, not competing, but working together. I want you to think about 1 billion people working together, not competing, but working together. For what? For what? For those common needs, for those common wants, for those common desires, for the peace, the prosperity, the freedom, the joy, the happiness, the opportunity to live your dream. Now, the message was for me to tell you that every human being on the face of the earth got that right. You as an individual, the earth was made for you as an individual to provide that kind of life for you. And that's for every last one of you. And not one thing was supposed to rob another of that which God has made for you. And if that is happening because you're not doing it God's way, and if you're not doing it God's way, anything that happens to you, you deserve if you allow it to happen. If you stand against it and you give it all you got and you can't quit, stop it by yourself, God is got your back. But giving in, God ain't got your back. So the message today was this, ladies and gentlemen. Sitting around here with all this trouble going on is not going to fix it. Looking and depending upon somebody else is not going to fix it. You, my friends, have got to change and see things clear for yourself. That means I, Eddie Marcus, as an individual, listen to me, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking to you through me. I, as an individual, I have the God-given right to have happiness on this earth. I got the God-given right to have peace and prosperity and freedom. I have the God-given right to have joy in this life. I have the God-given right to live my dreams. My joy was coming from knowing what I'm on this earth for. So far, I spent my life trying to wake you up. That, my friends. And that allows and entitles me to be able to live on this earth comfortably. Now, that is my joy. But if I were on this earth alone, I still would be responsible for food, clothing, and shelter. All of that stuff I alone would be responsible for. Now that we are many on this earth, I, which means each of us, I individually, are not alone. And we are not responsible as an individual alone. We are responsible to take care and make sure that things happen the way they're supposed to happen. That means do your part. What does that mean? That means you make sure that you engage in a career, a job. And I don't know what it is. You have to determine that by the joy that you receive from doing it. You must demand that no human being, no individual, or no group of individuals, or no government is established that would rob you of what God has prepared for you. Because if it does, either because you don't know any better, meaning you don't know God, or you know God and you turn your back on God. You see, let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. God would rather see you out of this body. God would rather, listen to me, all of you people who out here don't want to hear this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. God would rather see you out of this body than to turn your back on life. God made you for life. But if you don't do the things that promotes life, then you are resisting life. And you cannot live resisting life. Now, my friend, you have to be one with life that support life. And that means truth. Oh man, I could probably go on for the next couple of hours. Whatever I'm gonna say, however I might change it up, I'm gonna be saying the same thing I've said already. So I'm gonna leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that for me, I will understand that I'm doing my job. Always been doing my job for a long time. And I'm entitled to my heaven on earth. And I'm telling you, America, up until this point, I haven't actually seen it like this. But as far as I'm concerned right now, you are either my partner in my living my heaven on earth, or you are my enemy. That means we support one another. We make sure that when some Turkey start talking about the housing gonna be depleted, we're saying, hell no, it's not. We're gonna build houses to make sure that everybody's covered. When we start talking about having having that shelter, having food there and clothing, when we start talking about education, we're not going to talk about cutting education benefits. We're going to ensure that everybody got education. I'm not talking about no, reduce the debt. No, we're going to make sure that the best education that we can come up with in America or on this earth, and if we come up with it anywhere else, better, and it could be used somewhere else, then it's going to. And it's not gonna, nobody's gonna cut education. Nobody's gonna cut our healthcare. We're gonna have the best healthcare system we can ever imagine. And we're gonna create it for the benefit of everybody, not just to cure sickness, but to make sure we can do whatever we can to make sure people don't get sick. And they can kind of get some youth back. Yeah, that's what the future is to be about. It's to glorify God, stop glorifying uh, people who don't know what life is all about. So I'm saying this. I'm talking about putting in your health care, talking about trying to treat you as a slave, you go back to your shit old country. Who the hell do you think you are? This is not your world. And I don't care how many people, the whole dead blasted 8 billion people on this earth might tell you that you got the power. And still, the Heavenly Father would rather see me out of this body than to yield to this bull that you guys trying to perpetuate on people on earth. Well, I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, you have been lied to. We've been going through stuff, stumbling all our lives because we never known the truth. And the truth works for you, and the truth works for everybody else. And when you start finding the truth that just satisfies you, that ain't no damn truth. That's a trick. And you know that happens. But if you know, and if you care, you won't settle for that. You won't settle for what works for you that tear down someone else. But I know this stuff comes with observation. It comes with seeing it practice, and it becomes, oh, I do that. But when you don't ever see that, well, I understand. I thought I was gone. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, Eddie Marcus saying goodbye for now.